And thank you for staying with us on this very special Christmas edition of Open. Well, the Bronx is the least healthiest county in New York State with the highest rates of childhood obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Green Bronx Machine is actually teaching students about the art of science and growing vegetables indoors with low-cost, replicable technology. Now, the organization builds healthy and resilient communities through inspired education, local food systems, and 21st century workforce development. And here to tell us more about it is the founder, my friend, Bronx Green Machine, Stephen Ritz. Good to have you back.
Good to be back,
I mean,
man.
it's been a minute, but
it's been a long minute and a wonderful ride. But it goes to show you we can go from the Bronx to the world, and bringing it circular back to your point about where the Bronx is at. We are changing that, and we are changing that right in the heart of public housing in New York City in a community school. And it starts with curriculum. So since I saw you, we have curriculum that is now in 500 schools.
Wow.
We went from serving one school starting right up the block to 50,000 students a day in 20 states in 5 nations. And we're going to be scaling to 500,000 in the next 18 months. So it's proof that the Bronx can change attitudes now, and that's what this is all about, and change our lifestyle now.
if we go back, and we're really going to be dating ourselves, right? We
Yeah.
go back. You were just this one classroom doing this thing, and it started out as for one school, and it just blossomed. What do you think was the key to really taking off, given the fact that the classroom is a place where people learn?
The classroom is the place where people learn, and the classroom is the place where most things happen. So you look at McDonald's. Why is McDonald's so successful? Because they target children. So everyone thinks, we have to talk to adults about changing the way we eat and changing the way we shop and changing the way we do things. No, if you start with children, the mommy factor really makes a difference. So then we go to replicable and scalable and low cost. Listen, I can't put a greenhouse in every school, but I can put a garden in every single classroom, and then I can support it with what teachers and schools need most. Quality education. So we are not an add-on program anymore. We are a build-in, and we take the art and science of growing vegetables using a low-cost piece of technology that anyone can use and align it to public education outcomes. And the proof is in the pudding. We've moved CS 55 from one of the poorest performing schools in all of New York City for a whole lot of reasons, and I'm not here to blame, but to really turning it into a mecca of public education, and to think that our Bronx classroom has hosted visitors from 70 countries from around the world is awesome sauce. I like to say from hope to the Pope, and from our little greenhouse to the White House. To think that our children have been to the Obama White House not once, not twice, but 3 times, and the president himself has cited our work is awesome sauce. I wish Secret Service would have let me wear the hat, but they were afraid I was up to something. But it's proof of what's happening.
And to take it a step further, we were talking a little bit before, you're also dealing with the Pope and the Vatican.
Yeah, so from hope to the Pope, it was great to have the Vatican acknowledge our work, and literally we're looking at partnering with one of his charities out of Argentina, because food is a non-negotiable, health is a non-negotiable, and for so many, food is the problem, but for all of us, food is the solution.
Yeah, and we talk about healthy schools, right? And that's what you've done. You tried to make the school
Healthy,
healthy.
high-performing schools. That's the most important thing. Listen, I don't think a garden is going to change public education, but a garden with education changes everything. How can you teach a kid who's hopped up on 3 energy drinks and eating a bag of chips and cookies every day for breakfast? And then the reality is, so many kids are coming to school hungry. So when you can grow food indoors and feed those children, we're sending home 100 bags of groceries a week in the middle of public housing, which is awesome.
So for somebody who doesn't know about the work that you actually do, talk about the work that goes on inside the classroom with students.
So inside the student classroom, we have, we now call them STEMinists. They are feminist STEMinists. And what we're finding is boys and girls really want to be involved in cool things. Project-based learning, hands-on activities, things that they can see day to day. And the beauty of using our tower garden technology is literally you go from a seed to table in a classroom in 28 days using 90% less water and 90% less space. But it's all the magic that happens around the garden, seeing it grow, pollinating the plants, getting to cook it, learning to research. I've learned more about food and culture in my classroom from my students and this great immigrant community that we serve right in the middle of Claremont Village than I could ever imagine. And the beauty is everyone now dials in.
Yeah. And the plant, right? So many people look at plants and we just say, oh, it's beautiful. But there's some great power in a plant?
Listen, the therapeutic value of nurturing something. And I always say, you know, when we teach children about nature, we teach them to nurture. And when children learn to nurture, we as a society collectively embrace our better nature. But the beauty of plant-based eating, you know, you can't deny it. I mean, look at my odyssey. I've lost 110 pounds. I brought the shirt, you know, I mean, I'm bringing sexy back, eating what I grow with kids in school, and I'm doing it. My children are doing it. We have one of the most preeminent school garden to school cafe programs in New York City, in the heart of NYCHA, and the children grow it. Guess what? They eat it. And at a young age, if they eat it, they bring it and they grow it and they bring it home to their parents and grandparents, they eat it too.
You transcended your work into some literary objects, and you got some books going?
Oh yeah, so this is crazy. Literally, this is my adult book. One day I'm walking through Grand Central Station and a woman stops me and says, "You're Steve Ritz." And I'm like, uh-oh, where's this going? She goes, "I'm a fan, we follow you on Facebook, so for all your fans, please do follow Green Bronx Machine on Facebook." She said, I'm a literary agent, I'd like for you to write a book. I'm like, okay, crazy lady, thanks for the card. I go home, give the card to my wife. My wife says, "Steven, this woman's no joke. She's got 29 New York Times bestsellers." So I call her up, say, "What do I have to do?" She says, "Can you do X, Y, and Z in 30 days? I did it in 3. In 30 days, we had a book offer from every single publishing house in the nation, and this book went on to be a #1 bestseller. I took all the proceeds and donated it back into the organization, which helped us scale. And this book is being used by school systems, including the New York City Department of Ed, to motivate teachers. So it's a blessing. I've autographed one for you, and this is our newest book called Make It Happen. It's a children's reader, and it kind of tells them my story, the Bronx story, and I like to say from the Bronx to the world, and talks about how you can ask for help, overcome obstacles, and literally grow something greater. So when we start with little ones, they get inspired. My own students in CS5, CS55 is featured in the book. So we're literally telling a new Bronx story, baby, and that's what it's about, changing the narrative.
How do you feel, given the fact that you have done this, you've revitalized literally a school system, you've revitalized the borough, and you've actually provided a healthy alternative that's actually really shaped and changed a lot of kids' lives, as well as adults. How do you feel about the growth, even with the project itself?
Listen, man, it goes to show you that a seed well planted can give you a crop of epic proportions. And literally, you know, I stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, so many of us have had great mentors along the way. So for me, it's not about giving back. It's about paying it forward and perpetually building what I call a monument of hope, prosperity, and health for our students, by our students, with our students. In fact, this book has helped me to hire parents out of public housing at living wage to work in public schools. And that's how you create resilient communities.
Before we leave, if people want to get the book, of course, Amazon?
Yeah, well, you can buy it on Amazon, but they actually get the book cheaper than I do. So we ask, well, that's great. You can buy it from Amazon, but if you really want to make an impact, please buy it from the Green Bronx Machine website. All the proceeds support hiring parents and support us donating gardens into public schools. Last week, we put 15 gardens, and I trained 15 teachers in the borough for the borough and gave them a copy of our curriculum as well, which is going to help transform their public education outcomes in our schools.
Steven Ritz, always good to see you,
Yeah,
buddy.
man.
Good
always.
to see you. Good
BX,
to see you.
baby. BX.
Good to see you.
Good
Steven
to be
Ritz.
seen. Better to be seen than viewed.
That's how we say it.
That's
how
right.
we say it. All right, listen now. If you want more information about Bronx, or actually Green Bronx Machine, check out their website, greenbronxmachine.org, or on social media, Green Bronx Machine. And again, oh, by the way, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right,
You got it.
listen, we'll be back. We're taking a quick break here on Open. We've got more show on this Christmas edition right after this.